774 ABC Melbourne, ABC Victoria. Richard Stubbs in the afternoon with the Beatles and Get Back. It's 2:45. Rebecca Fraser is sitting in front of me, just grooving slightly. It's music she enjoys. She's also, she's lots of things. She is, I guess, a career management specialist. I think we can, across the board, call her that. Let's welcome her. Hooray. Welcome, Rebecca. Richard. That's the right thing to say, isn't it? Career management is your specialty.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's your forehand. You're a member of all sorts of things. And we're chatting to you because the Melbourne Career Expo is coming up. It'll start Friday, the 16th of August, and go through Saturday and Sunday. It's for Year 12 students, obviously. It's for people leaving school. But I wanted to talk about, what about me? What if I want to change careers? What else can I be doing? Are apprenticeships realistic for mature age career changes?
They are absolutely realistic. I think the challenge is for a lot of people when they are looking at career transition, regardless of where they move into, is looking at the physical aspect as well as the mental aspect, education, finances, reassessing their entire life to determine that they can actually do it.
Sometimes, okay, I won't preempt that. I'll ask you, what's involved? I'm going to transition my career from this to something else. What are the things that I need to get my head around? Okay, there's going to be what? What will happen?
The first step really is look at your capabilities. A lot of people have dreams and they say, well, I always wanted to be a mechanic. Now, that's really difficult for someone who's earning $100,000, $150,000 a year to say, well, I'm just going to give up now and become a mechanic. So the first step is to look at whether it's viable as a career. Because
what you're telling me, which is self-evident, but sometimes we don't really think it through, I've got to be prepared to go down several rungs of the ladder to start again, because I'm going to start. I might be senior at what I'm doing, but I'm going to be junior at what I'm starting.
Absolutely.
So there'll be a difference in pay. And then there's the transitional period of study or apprenticeship or whatever it is, where I'm perhaps also not going to be earning anything like what I was earning. So no wonder people feel trapped.
It's a challenge. It's an absolute challenge for a lot of people, and that's why for many it's a long-term goal and they plan for it for many, many years, and it's part of their retirement plan in some instances where they're not actually going to retire. They're going to transition into something that may not be as financially rewarding.
So they're going to set themselves up so that their expenses, their outgoings are less, or they've stockpiled enough income to cover them over the period of the learning and hope that it all balances out.
Absolutely.
Or both.
Absolutely. And I think it's probably more of a challenge for men than women, because for a lot of women, they're able to make this transition when their children have grown up. It may have been that they were only working part-time until that point.
Yep.
And for them, they can move into an apprenticeship. Although we see a lot less women moving into apprenticeships, there's definitely an opportunity that if they have only been working part-time, moving to full-time at the same salary may be about the same.
Forgetting apprenticeships for a second, just looking at careers in general. Okay, so in some ways, am I lucky if I get a redundancy? And the reason I say that is because I get a lump sum payout, so there's a chunk of money I can plan for, and I've been pushed off into the deep end. So I don't have to hesitate and I'm not sure. Suddenly I don't have a choice. So I'm not saying you're lucky if you're redundant, but I am saying that it does force you to take advantage of some opportunities, maybe. Is that real, or is that
I work with a lot of career transition clients that have been made redundant, or their positions have been made redundant, and for them they've been given a financial termination payment. Now, for some it's only a small amount, so it may be 6 to 8 weeks, but for others it could be up to a year's worth of salary. Now, if you're handed a year's worth of salary, you can pay down your mortgage and you can have a little bit left in the bank. Then is the time to start looking at career transition.
So don't sit sad on the couch, is
Absolutely
what we're saying.
not. Absolutely not. Redundancy is a great opportunity for many people.
Rebecca is sitting right here, and this is her specialty. So you can give her a call or SMS her, ask her a question you might want to. 1300 222 774, or you can SMS 0437 774 774. The Career Expo is on. The Melbourne Career Expo is on from the 16th of August to the 17th, 18th, and of course it's on at the Exhibition Centre, and you can go along. Rebecca, straight away the SMS is, how can a mature age worker afford to live on an apprentice wage? So one of the difficulties about apprenticeships, as I see it, is that I can't sort of get a bar job as I can maybe if I'm full-time studying, that the apprentice is physically demanding and it's long hours and stuff, and it pays awful.
That's normally the first question that we get asked. Now, there are some government incentives for mature age apprentices. Now, these can be given to either the employer or the employee to assist with these sorts of things. It definitely is not as viable. Purely because you're looking at still $45,000 for an apprenticeship wage on average. But with these government incentives, it may impact you a little bit and increase it, but they do look at individual circumstances. And for people to receive this over 45, they have to have been seen as disadvantaged for a period of time prior to that.
So the hideous answer, unless you're on your own and you're sweeping by, is that you've got to sit down and say to your partner, I might need you to do the heavy lifting for a couple of years. Because I can't do this on my own. This SMS, son did a diesel mechanic apprenticeship, aged 28, married to 2 kids and a mortgage. It was hard yards, but he's now fully qualified and doing well. It's Neil and Lilydale. What are good websites for mature age apprenticeships? I looked and called. I got very little help, says this SMS.
There's an Australian government apprenticeship website. I don't have it listed in front of me. I believe there's matureageapprentices.org. But if you definitely jump into Google and go Mature Age Apprenticeships Australia, all of the websites would come up. There's one dedicated to mature age apprenticeship jobs where people can advertise and source jobs, as well as all the government incentive programs.
The Melbourne Expo, Career Expo is on the weekend. I've just been retrenched and I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'm too old to get a new job. I don't even know what my skills are. I've been doing my job for ages. I don't even know where to start. What do I do?
The Career Expo is excellent. I've been attending the Career Expo for now up to 5 years, and the group there are really focused on helping people with their career transition. You've also got the opportunity. There are free 20-minute career checks, which are actually being performed by accredited career practitioners. The Career Development Association of Australia and their members are there. Now, to get into one of those, it's recommended to turn up first thing in the morning because they do book out and there's only so many available each day. But a 20-minute career check can at least give you a little bit of understanding of what you might need as your next step.
Why do I see it as a visit with an astrologer? Ooh, I see the moon in your future. Because a little bit of, but it's a bit more science than that, isn't it?
Look, talking to someone for 20 minutes, you're not going to get a huge amount. They're not going to be able to say to you specifically, this is the career for you and this is exactly what you want to do. There are career practitioners out there who can provide you reports that are psychologically accredited reports that determine your career based on a very, very structured response. So it's important, if you do need to understand more, to go and get a proper career assessment done.
Anne's in Hoppers Crossing. Hi, Anne. What did you want to chime into this conversation?
Oh, hello. I'm just ringing up to say my husband's doing a mature age apprenticeship as a locksmith. He's in his final year.
Wow. What made him suddenly do that?
Well, he was working in a locksmith company, and they offered it to him, the opportunity to do it, and he said yes, as long as he can get his normal wages, and they said yes, so he's getting his normal wage and doing the apprenticeship.
I bet he is. What was his job with the locksmith company?
Well, building locks and making the keys.
No, but I mean prior to doing the apprenticeship, what was he?
Well, he was working there for a while, but he's worked in factories before then. But
how's he finding it? Being an apprentice and a locksmith, I wouldn't have thought of that. It's a great idea.
He's enjoying it.
Just as well.
And the company's good, so yeah.
Again, just as well. It seems, thank you, it seems a great opportunity. 45 grand for an apprentice, that's more than I get as a home care worker. I'm off to the Expo. How about a 26-year military career? Think about dumping it all for the corporate world. So that's really interesting because it's a bit like, don't take this the wrong way, that military person. It's a bit like you've been working for, I don't know, public service, a bureaucracy, a sheltered workshop with their own rules, their own special way of doing things and their own protections. The corporate world's very different to that. How do you transition out of that?
Defence Force transitions are very, very challenging. I work with a number of Defence Force current employees on a month-to-month basis. And it's a matter of looking at what you've performed or what tasks you've performed to see how they transition across to other roles within corporate. Now, the challenge there is the cultural change. So the cultural change for defence members is very challenging and for some organisations to bring them on board. So it's important to sit down and make the right decision. Again, get accredited career assessment done and move forward with the right steps. Then you'll be able to find the right employer and the right employment.
I'm tipping another big bureaucracy. Like, you've got to be an unusual kind of ADF person to go 26 years in and I now work for an arbitrary sole owner business. It's very small.
No, we've had quite a number who've moved into small business purely because that's where their generalist management skills are quite respected because they've got such broad experience.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. If they've got rank in those small businesses, they're okay. But if they're a grunt in those little businesses and there aren't structures and stuff, that's going to turn their head.
Generally not, yes.
It's interesting. It's fascinating. Of course, all of this comes up in the Melbourne Career Expo. We can go in and explore options. What about doing part-time courses to see what you like? You know, I often think if you're reading that your industry's in trouble, don't just sit there and read it and then ask what's for dinner, but maybe start to actively, I don't know, take a Certificate 3-4 course at night or something, just to sample other things.
Absolutely. I think qualifications are quite important in this day and age, but only if those qualifications are being undertaken to benefit you. I think people who just jump in and start education, it's even when they leave high school, we have a high dropout rate of high school students because they decide after doing 1 to 2 years of university degree that they don't enjoy it. And that's a lot of money to have to pay back. So once again, I go back to the need to engage, get a career practitioner who can help you with an accredited career report to make sure you make the right steps before you spend that amount of money.
And the preemptive nature of it. As I say, like if you're reading reports that your industry is in trouble, then maybe start having conversations with someone who's trained about, so could I become an air conditioning mechanic as opposed to a car mechanic? And I don't know.
Yeah, try to be a bit proactive. I think the best thing in everybody's career is to be proactive rather than wait until the writing's on the door.
What about the area you live in and how much that affects that? I've just got an SMS from someone who's 44 and is in a disadvantaged regional area, or he's calling it a disadvantaged regional area. But, you know, regional, less options. But still, I guess you need to go to the expo and explore. Absolutely.
Regardless of where you are regionally, there are opportunities available to you. The Expo caters across everyone. So if you're in regional, it's probably the best place to start because there are so many businesses there that can support you regardless of where you're located.
And the powerful thing we call the internet helps.
Absolutely.
Rebecca, thank you. It's fascinating. I'd like to get you back at some stage so I can really pick your brain about careers and activity. But
not a problem.
Thank you for coming in and chatting to us. The Melbourne Careers Expo is from Friday the 16th until Sunday the 18th. And, of course, it's at the Melbourne Exhibition Centre. Rebecca, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Just a couple of minutes before 3 o'clock. And that's a good time to say hi to Raphael Epstein. Hey, Raph.
So I'll be able to get some advice on what to do when I grow up.
And career change.
Career change?
Yeah.
So you're looking at me, you're thinking, what could I do? I mean, all I can do is talk. Is there good tour guide?
Hey,
absolutely.
What about, or don't run yourself short. That a 710 fine to Frankston.
Hey, I've often, you know, I was thinking the other day about the blokes that used to open the railway gates, you know, on the crossings.
I know my gig in the future. It's when you fly in from that journalist conference in Geneva and you come back in at 3 a.m. and you walk past and you go, wow, the duty-free bottle shop's still open. And there's a guy out front going, vodka's $2 for $1.
No, I was thinking a bit more romantically, you know, guy pushing the gates open on the railway. You know, they always used to have the smoke coming out of the chimney, had the nice little hut going. I was thinking maybe that. Anyway.
That'll work. Go in for a cup of tea and then come back and push the gates.
Yeah, something like that. Look, I have no idea how to jump from that to this. There's a really intriguing installation / piece of music. It's called Dead Symphony, and it is based on the music that people hear when they have near-death experiences.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really spooky. It's really eerie. It's performed deep underneath the National Gallery. I went and looked at it this morning. Down these staircases, and you know, with the water coming down the walls.
Wait, what music?
You're going to meet the woman, Saskia Moore, who's composed this music based on her conversations with people on their near-death experiences. So I want to hear from people who've had that remarkable thing happen to them when they've effectively been written off but come back. You're going to hear some of Saskia Moore's music. Saskia will join us. And we're also going to have a chat to Matt Parkinson, who sometimes fills in for Red.
Yes.
He has had an experience like this. So he's going to come in, share his reflections. So we're going to be talking about what it's like to nearly die. That and a whole lot more, including the interest rate cut after 3.